Here we're going to be going through exercise 8. This exercise is a little bit more involved than many of the other ones, so it'll take a little bit of time. And I've already downloaded and opened the main project file, but there are 2 more files we need to download. You can come down here, and in my case, I'm going to right-click and hit Save Link As, and save it to my Downloads folder for both of these. Your browser may vary on how you download these files. Then we're going to go into GameMaker and get started. Now, if we run the project as is, you can see there's a little bit of stuff already included. You can see we have a dragon on the left, and this is an enemy on the right with a health bar across the top. The dragon we control with the W and S keys to make go up and down, and we're going to use the space bar to make him fire a fireball. Now first we're going to import those 2 sounds we just downloaded. So there are a couple ways you can do that. You can right click on sounds over here and select create sound, or you can right click anywhere in this free area and select resources and create sound. It doesn't matter which. And first we're going to give it a name, sound hit, and then over on the right here we're going to select file. In our downloads file we have the hit file. And it's a uncompressed, non-streamed is what GameMaker picked, which works for sound effects, short sound effects. So we can close this one, and we're going to create another new sound. This one is going to be sound fire, and we're going to import the fire file, and again we can just close it. Next we're going to set up the background sound, which is already loaded, to play when the game starts up. In this case we're going to use the game room, and we're going to use the creation code, which is down here in the lower left corner. And we're going to use the execute code action. And we're going to go back to the exercise and copy and paste this code. Then we can close this. And to get our room back in view, we can hit the center fit button. Next, we want to set it up so that the sound effects play when needed. So first, we're going to go to our object dragon. And we're going to go to the add event, key pressed, and we want space. So when you press the space bar, and we're going to play the fire sound. We don't want to loop it, so we'll just leave it like that. Next, we're going to open the boss. There's already collision with fireball registered here. So now we want to add a play sound, and we're going to play the hit sound. Again, not looping it, otherwise it would just play over and over and over again. Now we're going to save the project and run it. And you'll hear when it starts, the background music will start playing. And when you hit the space bar, the fire sound will play. Next, we're going to create a new path for the boss to follow. I'm going to name it Path Boss. We want it to be a smooth curve and closed. Now we want to go to the game room, and we want to add a new path layer. We're going to select our path, and now we can place some points to make the path by clicking in the room. The particular path you make doesn't matter. I just chose this. Then on the left, we're going to click on Instances. This is just so we accidentally don't add more path points while clicking around in GameMaker. Now we need to tell the boss to follow this path. We're going to open up the boss, go to the Create event, and we want to assign the path. So we want Start Following Path. Over here, we're going to select the path we did. We're going to do a speed of 6. We want it to loop when it gets to the end. And we're going to check relative. Now, we don't actually want it to be relative, but there's a bug in GameMaker that makes this the opposite of what it says here. So now we can close these extra windows. And next, we're going to make a path for the fireball to follow. So again, we're going to make a new path. This one I'm going to name path fireball. We want it smooth, but we don't want it closed. And we want to zoom out a little bit because we want this to be wider than the room is in reality. So I'm just going to make kind of a little arc here. And that's all we need. That's going to be the path the fireball follows. Close that. And then we need to assign the fireball to follow that path. So we're going to open the fireball. And we're going to add the create event. And in there, we want to start following path. And we want to select the fireball path. This one, we're going to be doing speed 18, so pretty fast. At the end, we want it to stop. And we want relative at false, which is the opposite of what we want. We want it to be relative to where it's created. And because of the bug, we need to do the reverse of that. Now we need to set up the dragon to actually fire the fireballs. So we're going to go to Object Dragon, go to our space event, and then in here we want to use the create instance action. This will make a new instance of an object that we specify. So we're going to go to Object and we're going to select a fireball because that's what we want. And we're going to set the X to 40, the Y to -40, and both of those are relative. The layers should be instances, and target should be empty. Now the X and Y is because when you create relative to an object, it's created at the center of the object that's creating it. We want to push that up and over so that it lines up approximately with the mouth of the dragon, and these values do that. Okay, we can close this. And then finally, we want to remove the fireballs if they miss. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the path end event. So I'm going to do add event, and I'm going to do other, path ended. And if we get to that point, we reach the end of the path, we know we missed, so then we can use the destroy instance action. That will remove the fireball. It'll already be outside the edge of the room, but destroying it frees up game resources. You don't want to leave things like that just out there because the game still has to process them, keep them in memory, and check them for event triggers. We can close that, and now we can run the game. And the background music will play. You can see our boss is following the path around. We can move up and down, and if we fire, you'll see a fireball shoot out. If we hit with our fireball, health is deducted from the enemy. That's it for exercise 8. Export a YYZ and submit it to Moodle.